We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast, episode number 102. Welcome to the We Make Movies podcast, making the world a better place, one film at a time. And now, here are your hosts, three aspiring sellouts, Chad, Michelle, and Garrett. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast, the podcast that's all about how to get your movie made, how to get it seen by other people, and how to get it awesome, and how to have inaccurate intros. We have professionally inaccurate intros. We work very hard to make sure that our intro is incorrect every week. Sometimes we slip up, but this week we do not have Michelle, and Michelle provided us with a wonderful replacement guest star, Veronica Shea. Say hello, Veronica.
Hello, Veronica.
Yes! I love it when people do it right. And then Chad got sick, so Chad's not here. So it's me and Veronica. We're just doing the thing. Welcome to the show. Do you want to tell people a little bit about what you do, how you know Michelle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I work with Michelle at Relativity. I'm a production coordinator there. In my free time, I'm an AD. What free time I get. Basically a masochist, so there's that.
Yay.
But yeah.
Fun. All right. Well, we're gonna have a good show. It's gonna be a little bit shorter than normal, but that's totally fine. Everything's gonna be fine. So we're gonna get into the regular stuff. As always, we like to invite people to comment live, and with YouTube's comment system still not being working right now at all, you can reach out to me on Twitter with the hashtag #WeMakeMovies, and I will answer questions live on the show if they come up. And then before we get into the general news, I do just want to, I didn't want to do his whole segment on this because, one, it's depressing, and two, I didn't feel like I had enough to say about it. But we do want to acknowledge the passing of two incredible artists in film, and one more so in music and one more so in theater. But David Bowie and Alan Rickman, who passed away. Really, really sucks when amazing artists like that, leave us. So that sucks, and it's depressing, and we will try not to dwell on it because we don't like to make people feel sad with our lives. That's not what we do. So we will get into the main news, or the general news topics, and and in our spreadsheet it says Michelle, but Veronica, why don't you tell us about the Revenant?
Okay, I just went and saw The Revenant on Friday. Obviously, it's leading the Oscars with 12 nominations and took home Golden Globe for both Best Actor and Best Picture. And a lot of people are saying this is Leo's year to win the Oscar.
It fucking better be, Jesus.
I mean, everything he's ever done is worthy of an Oscar, except Titanic.
I was going to say, I'm sure we can come up with something.
Titanic. And for Michelle, I do just want to mention that Crazy Ex-Girlfriend took home a Golden Globe too. So yay, musical theater on TV.
Yay.
Right? Yay, finally. But I'm in the camp where I'm not a huge fan of Birdman, which I know I'm like in the minority. But I felt with The Revenant almost the exact same as Birdman, is the cinematography was actually extremely distracting.
Really?
And,
in what way?
In that you were kind of always feeling drunk because you're just kind of moving back and forth, as opposed to the quick cuts and being able to actually see reactions. You're a person in the movie, which has its own merit, but I want to see like everyone else experiencing the movie maybe. And also, okay, Tom Hardy was great. I definitely think it was one of his best performances, but halfway through the movie, I kept forgetting it was him and thinking it was Shia LaBeouf. And so I think they could have really just been the same, and it would have been the same performance.
So I saw this in your segment, obviously, and I'm going to need you to clarify. Like, because when I look at Tom Hardy and Shia LaBeouf, this is not like Elijah Wood and what's his face, Tobey Maguire, where I'm like, okay, I can see how you could mistake one for the other. How? Why? What?
Okay, his character was so deranged and weird and evil, but he doesn't think he's evil. It just reminded me.
Exactly like Shia LaBeouf. Okay, yeah, I get
exactly like Shia LaBeouf, and especially in Fury, he's just It could have been.
Oh, I
feel
meant
like,
in real life, but yeah, whatever.
yeah, well, yes, real life, because oh my God, how do you cut your own face open every day? But oh, Shia, poor baby Shia. But I know, so I felt like that was weird because halfway through I was like, oh wait, no, that's not Shia LaBeouf, but could it have been Shia LaBeouf? So I don't know. I was underwhelmed, honestly, and I kind of hope it doesn't win Best Picture, but I think people should definitely go see it. Leo was amazing, and half of it he's not walking; he has to like crawl for half the movie and can't talk for most of the movie. I
Wow.
mean, yeah, it was a rough, and then just the filming of the movie itself, they broke like every camera they received, and they were freezing
Wow.
to death for all of it, and it's all natural lighting and beautiful landscapes. But I don't know, I felt the cinematography that wasn't natural landscape was a bit not right. But
How
it's
was
Alejandro Inarritu.
so the bear movie, the bear attack, was done all in one shot, right?
Um, was it?
I think that it was. I was hearing about that, and I know that that director fucking loves doing that.
He loves oneers, and it was definitely there's actually multiple attacks by the bear. It's all in the same sequence.
Does it
But
keep
like,
coming back for him?
yes, it keeps coming back.
What the hell?
It's a fucking asshole bear. No, it's a mama bear. So it was
Bear
weird
wanders
though.
away. Bear comes back. Hey, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yes, actually, exactly like that. But it was actually a lot of fun for like just to experience the audience's reactions, and I feel like they didn't know maybe that it was coming or weren't really prepared. But it's gruesome, and all of them were like there were screams, there was gasping, there was crying. Like it was an experience in and of itself just to be with an audience. It
Oh
was
man.
insane. I mean, and then there's a part, if you watch the trailer, he goes over the cliff with the horse. None of them were expecting it. And I'm like, well, we all saw this in the trailer. Like,
Oh, see, I haven't.
was
I don't
not.
actually think I've seen a single trailer for The Revenant. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, at
Yeah.
all.
He
So,
gets fucked up the entire time. Is a story of a man trying to not die when everyone and everything is like, no, we're going to fucking kill you. And at some point after the bear, I would have been like, well, fuck it. This is too much.
I guess I'm dead. I'm just gonna lay down and die.
Yes, actually, I would have been like, nope, fuck this shit. So
I don't know if you saw the Onion article, but the Onion published an article. Leonardo DiCaprio hopes he screamed and cried enough for an Oscar this time.
yes, I mean, yeah, he was amazing. He really was. And I haven't seen The Danish Girl, so I don't know. I'm sure Eddie Redmayne was amazing too, but I don't feel like they're going to give it to him 2 years in a row. So I do
wonder.
think Leo's going to take it home.
Well, okay, so this is going a little bit longer than a segment generally should, but I think it's okay because we don't have Chad and we're only doing our segments. Okay, so The Danish Girl. You said you have seen it? Haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it yet. I really want to because I like.
What is the story of The Danish Girl?
It's a man and a woman are married, and it's Eddie Redmayne, and he comes out to her as, I'm not sure a transsexual would be the correct word, but at least a transvestite. He likes to wear women's clothing.
It says he prepares to undergo one of the first sex change operations. Okay.
So as a transsexual, and she sticks by him and like helps him become a woman.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he's not a hideous woman, so like, way to go, Eddie. I guess that's a weird thing.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Cool. Well, I hope that Leo gets it just because, I mean, for fuck's sake, he really, really deserves to. But also, yeah. I'm sort of like, is he gonna, if he doesn't, is he gonna keep trying? Because I don't want him to get an Oscar and then be like, thank God, now I can just go. Because I feel like there were a couple of movies back in the day that like Tom Cruise like could have gotten his Oscar for, right? Like he could have won for Jerry Maguire, and I wouldn't have been too shocked. I would have been like, okay. Right. And then finally he just, but he didn't, and Magnolia he got nominated as well, I think. But then I feel like he was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go make action movies that make me like $400 million a piece. And I can't fault that decision. I might do the same thing.
I feel like that kind of correlated with the time he became a Scientologist, though.
I don't
I
think so. No,
feel
because he was for a long time
for a
before that.
while.
Yeah.
Maybe he just became openly crazy at that point. I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't think Leo would ever. I don't feel like he's that actor who's wants to be an actor and wants to be like acclaimed like that.
Hmm.
So, because he is kind of on that method Daniel Day-Lewis track where he's a little off,
Right.
but like, oh God, I mean, just the things they went through in The Revenant, and you could tell when he went and got his Golden Globe, like his lips are still chapped and gross. Like it wasn't makeup. Like he was that gross person. It's just like, oh my God. So
That's amazing. All right. Well, best of luck to him. In other Oscar news, so there were no black actors nominated for Oscars this year. Again, so we have, I mean, I say we, people have brought back the hashtag Oscars so white, and they're just none in any category. In a
except the
year,
host.
sorry.
Except the host.
Except the yeah, exactly. um and there were pretty good performances this year. Like I haven't seen all of the movies that have been nominated, or all of the strong, the performances that are being talked about as being strong by black actors in films this year. But just as an example, Creed, um who stars in Creed? Is it Michael B. Jordan?
This is just sad. I don't know his name. I just know the Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, well, okay, that's the thing.
So there's
It's
that.
I'm looking it up. It doesn't list the. Yeah, okay, so it's Michael B. Jordan playing Creed, and he was not nominated, but Sylvester Stallone
What?
was. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine that it's that bad of a movie. And then there's other ones. Idris Elba apparently did an amazing job in Beasts of No Nation, and
Amazing.
yeah, okay, so you saw that.
Yeah, and I'm
Okay.
actually really surprised because right when it came out, people went and even saw it in theaters, not just Netflix.
Mhm.
And everyone was talking Oscar buzz for him, and he was amazing. I mean,
Right.
just so bone-chillingly evil, but compassionate. But I mean, it was a difficult character, and he rocked it.
Yeah, so people are understandably pretty upset. I mean, the Oscars do have a huge history of being pretty white. So as Chad says in his segment that he never watches award shows, I actually haven't watched award shows live for a while because I got rid of cable, and I never really looked into how I could watch it streaming or anything like that. Um, I I I sometimes I get invested, like I want a certain person to win, and then I'll watch to see if they won. I don't feel like particularly invested in any of the categories this year, so we'll see. But people like Jada Pinkett Smith is talking a boycott. Chris Rock, who's hosting, called the Oscars the White BET Awards. And a couple of funny satirists penned an article in the Huffington Post. It's a fake press release discussing how the Blackademy Awards didn't nominate any white actors or actresses for the second year in a row. And they included a pretty funny quote from a make-believe spokesperson for the Make-Believe Awards Committee. And the quote is, "It's not that white actors weren't good enough. It's just that there were a lot of great performances by black actors this year. In fact, some very good black actors weren't even nominated. And that's how you know it's not a race issue," which is pretty much exactly what the Academy is saying in response to criticism for the thing. I'll be honest, I don't really know how the nomination system works necessarily. So I don't know if it's something that the Academy has to vet, or if it's the nominations are done by everybody who is in the Academy. I don't know if that's how the nominations happen, or if that's how the voting for the winner happens. Do you have any?
I think it's I think It's okay. Someone did explain this to me once, and
Okay.
this is
I'm
either
Googling it
backwards
now.
or this. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I think everyone watches them and submits their vote for like best one, and that creates the nominations,
Okay.
and then they vote on the top 5 or 10 sometimes, or
Okay.
3. Like,
Yeah, so it says members from each branch of the Academy vote to determine the nominees in their respective categories. Actors nominate actors,
okay.
for example. Film editors nominate film editors. Um, each member can select up to 5 nominees, and then all 5,755 voting members choose their top 10 best picture nominees, and then I guess it's all tallied up and whatever. So
Almost had it. It
yeah,
was
yeah.
I just
Quite.
limited everyone to 1. You get 1 vote, but no,
Yeah.
you get like 5 votes.
I mean, it's kind of hard to know exactly what to say about this other than like, I think that the problem is not just the Academy Awards, but kind of the film industry in general, like, I mean,
That's what
there's,
I think. I mean,
yeah.
if you really think back this year, besides Idris Elba, I can't think of a movie starring a black person.
Well, Welcome to Compton, or Straight Outta
Oh, Straight
Compton.
Outta Compton.
Welcome to Compton sounds like an
Welcome to
entirely different movie.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
That'd be an amazing musical. Please, that idea belongs to anybody who wants to run with it. I just want to see the movie.
I want Michelle to do it, to choreograph
Oh my
hip hop
God, Michelle, if you're listening, get on it right now.
and to write hip hop lyrics. That's what I would like to
A
happen.
musical version of Straight Outta Compton called Welcome to Compton. Oh my God.
It'd be amazing. But I'm looking at the actors right now, and I didn't see The Martian, but of course he took home Best Actor in a comedy.
In a
For
comedy.
the Golden Globes.
In a comedy.
And I haven't seen Eddie Redmayne, but I know that he's amazing. I mean, Bryan Cranston was good. I don't know that he was better than Idris Elba.
Yeah.
And Trumbo wasn't a great movie. Like, it could have been so much better for like who he was and the importance of him in Hollywood. Yeah, I mean, Fassbender was great. I'm pissed because Sorkin wasn't nominated
Right.
at all, which is bullshit. But I think Idris could have even replaced Fassbender. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's a big snub that he didn't.
Yeah. I thought you meant in the movie for a second. I was very
Oh my
confused.
God.
I don't know if that would have worked.
It would be a little different.
It'd be interesting.
Maybe we could do white.
To be fair, he'd kill the role. He'd fucking nail it.
I mean, he would do it. He's a professional. But yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, this is the sort of thing that we talk about on the show all the time, and it seems like it's something that's systemic, and hopefully it can be addressed at some point in the not too distant future. But we will move on. Go ahead and talk about Making a Murder. Okay,
I'm a huge Netflix obsessed person, and I watched Making a Murderer in all of 3 days. And for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, it basically follows a man, Stephen Avery, who has allegedly, this docuseries alleges, good Lord, that he has been framed, that kind of a Sunday, has been framed for murder and is being put away by the Wisconsin police. And it also gets his nephew in trouble. But it has just taken audiences through America by storm, and now jurors are coming forward saying that it wasn't even really based on a voting process. They were trading votes just to get out of the jurors' room.
How does trading votes work? I'm confused.
So there were 3 or 4 different convictions against him.
Okay.
And so by pleading, they voted no for all but one. And I mean, you have to, it's really fucked.
Okay.
That like they were so split on all of them that they were like, okay, well, I'll concede my no vote for this for a yes vote if you make your yes vote for that a no. so that they felt like they were evening out the score just for like whoever was
Wow.
super into that one conviction getting that, just so they could leave because it was taking so long. And
Wow.
then yeah, because it was something like the original for murder, right? Like the big one.
Yeah.
It was not that many people who had, when they polled the jury originally, was saying yes. It was like 2 or 3 thought he was guilty.
Wow.
And yet he's sitting in prison. So now audiences, given all of this different information, and obviously different information than the jury got, because we're seeing police interviews and interrogations and, you know, all this stuff after the fact, they've created all these petitions, one of which was even urging Obama to take action, which isn't really within his jurisdiction.
Right.
And the DA's office came out saying that audiences weren't given all of the evidence. And the Television Critics Association actually asked the directors about this. And one of the directors, Laura Ricciardi, I think I'm saying that right, basically insisted, saying it's just a documentary, not objective journalism or a retrial, that they didn't try to set out to convict or exonerate anyone, but to simply look at today's criminal justice system. But now it's gotten so much, like everyone is jumping on board. No Investigation Discovery is going to partner with NBC later this month for a segment called Front Page, the Stephen Avery story. And so it's kind of raising the question, is it going to make a difference or is it too late? He's already exhausted all of his appeals. I mean, unless he doesn't have, I don't know that they can get around the legal system in this case.
Right.
But I think he didn't do it.
And it's so hard to know like where to draw the line on these things, because you know, us watching something from the comfort of our home, watching something on Netflix, seeing something on social media, no, we are not the legal system. But at the same time, sometimes you see something where it's like that just that one fact, it kind of doesn't matter what the context is. That is not, like, we recognize that something's not okay. Like this is not necessarily the same thing, but like when you see the video footage of the killing of Tamir Rice, you're like, I don't care if the legal system says that that's okay, then that's the problem. Then the legal system is the problem, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, and especially because it starts with him. He was convicted even before this of a rape of a woman, and they put him in without ever looking for anyone else. DNA, like 10, 20 years later, exonerated him. So then he's released and is then put, like, he was about to win his settlement and is rearrested for this crime. They have to bring in a special investigation team from the county over, like, the police in his county aren't even allowed to search or be a part of it, and yet they were. They held his house for much longer than any search warrant would ever allow. They were the ones to find, like, the damning evidence 3 days after it had been searched by the other county's sheriff department. I mean, it's just really, like, crooked shit happened. And it's like, it can't be legal. And now, oh, this is the best part. This DA, who was super, super creepy, was just fired or made to resign because he was found to be sexually assaulting women from trials. He was like sexting them inappropriate stuff, like witnesses. So I mean, it's like, it keeps going. It's awful. And I was raised by 2 lawyers, and I really want to believe in the legal system, and then, like, this shit happens.
I think it's one of those things where I think that you can trust in the legal system and trust in, like, or trust in a system like government and still go, yeah, but that's fucked up. Like, you can trust in the system, but you can also see abuse of the system, I guess. I don't know. We're not legal experts here. I mean, maybe you are. I don't know. But
not really.
with Parents for Lawyers, you probably know a hell of a lot more than I do. But yay, I'm not going to watch Making a Murder. It's going to make me sad, and so many things already make me sad.
Oh no, it's so good though.
I know, but yeah, I'm going to talk about something that makes me happy.
Do it.
So, past episodes of the show, we've already gone on and on about the new Star Wars movie. Have you seen it, by the way?
I have not.
Ah.
One of the few.
Well, that's it for the day. Bye, everybody. Bye. No, kidding. Seriously, go see it, though. Oh, my God. So good. I mean, it's yeah, go see it. If you like Star Wars. If you don't like Star Wars movies, you might not like it. I don't know.
I'm on the fence.
Okay.
I'm more of a Star Trek fan. But...
Totally valid excuse. Totally valid. Somebody, so Neil deGrasse Tyson, this is totally aside, this is not the segment. Neil deGrasse Tyson, when a sci-fi movie comes out, he fact checks the science, and he'll always say, this is impossible, or he'll go, this violates our current understanding of physics, but we're a little bit hazy on it, and da-da-da. And Star Wars, it was just thing after thing. It was like that, that doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense. And people were like, what the hell, man? It's like, and the thing is that Star Wars doesn't make sense. Star Trek usually does. Like, of course, Star Trek has some inaccuracies as well, but Star Trek is more
accurate.
Yeah. Like they it's more sci-fi, whereas Star Wars is also obviously sci-fi, but it's more space opera, like a space fantasy. Anyway, I love that people just sort of freaked out at Neil deGrasse Tyson for being a scientist when he is a scientist. But yeah, fantastic. So episode 8 is coming out next year, but it's not going to do. I actually thought it was going to be a Christmas release for next year. It's not. It's coming out in May of next year. And meanwhile, this December 16th, we are getting the next Star Wars installment, which is a sideways story called Rogue One. And it is basically the story of how the rebels got the Death Star plans in the first place. By the way, if you haven't seen the Star Wars original trilogy, I guess this is all spoiler alerts, but whatever. Like, I have no sympathy. Not you. I'm talking to the listeners.
Yeah, no, they had 40 years. It's like, get it together.
Yeah, exactly. So to whet the appetite until Rogue One comes out, here's a few things that we know about the movie and 2 rumors. The first thing confirmed is that a young Han Solo will definitely be making a cameo. We're going to be getting a young Han Solo movie on his own, and they are really trying to lock down that actor because they are going to have a cameo appearance with him. Not sure exactly what the appearance is going to be, obviously, yet. As far as movie canon goes, he doesn't seem to have been involved with capturing the Death Star plans, and my guess is that he's not actually going to be involved with capturing the plans. I'm hoping that it's going to be like Hugh Jackman's cameo in X-Men First Class. Do you remember that? Where
wasn't it like just at the end for like a split second or something?
No, it's in the middle when Professor X and Magneto are looking for mutants, and they use Cerebro and they find them, and they walk into the bar and he's drinking, right. And they're like, we want to talk to you about fuck off. All right. And they stand up and just walk out. It was amazing. So I hope they're going to do something like that. That would be amazing. Yeah. So it's also rumored that Darth Vader is going to be making an appearance in Rogue One, which makes sense since Rogue One takes place before Episode 4 and it concerns the Death Star plans. Like, it would be cool to get the backstory of him trying to get back the plans and all. And it is rumored and probably pretty certain that we are going to see Bothans. For those who are not my level of nerd, Bothans are an alien race that's mentioned in the movie A New Hope, but never actually seen in it. We have not seen them in the Star Wars films. We don't technically know what they look like, although we do know what they look like because they've been described in the extended universe, but we're going to see them. So yay. So I hope it's going to be awesome. I hope that we are going to have a lot of Star Wars spin-offs. I know it kind of irritates some people that we're going to be doing it, but picture, if you will, your favorite film director, whoever your favorite director is, whatever the reason is that they're your favorite film director, and picture them being able to make a movie in the Star Wars universe. Somebody totally off the wall, an Edgar Wright Star Wars movie, whoever you want can be making a Star Wars film. I just think it would be super, super awesome. So I hope we're going to have a lot of these. Yay. I'm happy again. I've forgotten all about America's many miscarriages of justice.
I feel bad for the kid who gets cast as Han Solo.
He is going to be hated unless he is so good. Like, so good. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like it's almost, or just they're setting him up to fail because he's not Harrison Ford.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a time where it was done successfully. I mean, I don't think anybody hates Zachary Quinto for being Spock. You know what I mean? Do you? You're a Star Trek,
No, I mean, he was perfect. He almost
right?
looked, they made him look like Leonard Nimoy.
Right.
And then we had Leonard Nimoy in the thing. Oh my God, it was perfect. And they
Yeah,
had
so it kind of helped. It worked. Yeah.
But yeah, well, is JJ gonna do that one? Because I know he's not even slated for the next one.
No, he did his part, and now
Done.
they're passing it off. I think it's a good decision. Episode 7 was great. But he did his work, and now they're giving it to Rian Johnson, who's just amazing. And he's writing and directing episode 8, and he's writing episode 9. And I just think it's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited. You got to go see it. You will enjoy yourself.
I'll go see it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of what's his face. Oh my gosh, totally blanking. I can see Adam Driver.
Adam Driver.
An Adam Driver fan.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I'm trying to think. I don't know if that's gonna matter in this movie or not. It might. It might. I think, okay, I'll say this. I don't mind Adam Driver, and I think that Kylo Ren is the perfect villain for the new Star Wars film, which is hard to explain without spoilers, but basically they needed exactly what Kylo Ren is in the film because it wouldn't have worked any other way. So, yeah. So hopefully you enjoy it.
Okay, well, I'll have to go watch it and then let you know.
Yeah, exactly. All right. One sec. All right. So we're going to do one main topic for the week, and we're just going to sort of talk about it a little bit until we sort of feel done. And I want to talk about film adaptations. For anybody who doesn't know, I write. That's my job. I write and I publish books, and I write my books currently with a partner, guy named Sean Platt, and he owns the company Sterling and Stone, and he's just published tons and tons and tons of books, and he writes, and he's very good. I say that as his partner, so full disclosure, but he's very good. And right now we are embarked on the project of adapting a bunch of his books into screenplays because he wants to sell a screenplay this year. Now he's working on it a lot. He has sent me a script, which I gave him some feedback on and all that sort of thing. And I have learned a few things, general things about adaptation in the work that we've already done so far. And in the work that I've done in the past, I have adapted one short story into a short film. And so, so here's some observations. One, novelists are not writing novels and writing screenplays is completely not the same thing. Like it's very, very different. If you try to write a screenplay like a novel, it will be 500 pages long. And if you try to write a novel like a screenplay, it just won't be what a good novel should be. And that's the main thing is that a novelist, when you tackle a screenplay, if you're just used to writing prose, you're not thinking by default with the medium of film and what you can show and how you can communicate what the book is trying to communicate visually instead of with words, which is that's why we have film school. That's why people study composition and cutting and symbolism and or as the Boondock Saints would say, symbology, all these things, right? So number one thing, look for every single thing in in the work that you're adapting that can be shown visually instead of with words. Super, super important. The other thing, dialogue has to be way better in films. So much better. And TV as well. Not that TV always has excellent dialogue, but the really good, the golden age of television shows that we have right now, they just have great dialogue. And it has to be so much better because in a novel, people can talk for a long time. You can have really, really long conversations that talk an issue to death. You just don't have the time, whether you're doing a film or whether you are doing a TV series that has a whole, even with a whole season of a show, you have to limit your time. You have to cut your dialogue down so that it is smarter, faster, gets to the point more, but is still interesting and fun to experience. Obviously, you can't write crappy dialogue that's fast either. So that's lesson number 2. And the third lesson is just that when you are adapting, almost always, if you're adapting something from a book, you're going to have to leave stuff out of the book. You can't make a movie that is a page by page retelling of a book almost ever. One exception that comes to mind is The Fault in Our Stars. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Okay.
No.
So I've read the book, watched the movie. I'm a big John Green fan. And they basically just did the book as a movie. And actually, I thought that the movie, which I enjoyed the movie, and it's a good story with interesting characters, but I felt like the movie suffered because it was just a direct adaptation. Like I felt like a braver, more adventurous filmmaker could have brought more to it, if that makes sense. And that's a very fine line to walk, because sometimes you don't want to change the story either, but I feel like a good filmmaker, a person who knows how to adapt a film can say what the essence of the book is saying in a way that lends itself to film and be a separate piece that is still awesome and carries forward the themes of the books. My favorite example, obviously, anybody who's a longtime listener of the show should know, is The Lord of the Rings, which is my favorite book of all time and my favorite movie of all time, blah, blah, blah. Not the Hobbit films. Sorry, but they fell flat. Very, very flat.
There didn't need to be 3 of them.
There did not need to be 3 of them.
Why?
Here's the thing. I think that there could have been 3 of them. I think that I can see where the story structure could have been done if so much hadn't been changed from the book, added to the book that wasn't supposed to be there, or removed from the book when it was supposed to be there. Like that's the thing to me, is like, okay, my problem isn't that there's 3 films. My problem is that these 3 films are bad,
Gotcha. Okay.
Not bad. They're not the prequels. They're not the Star Wars prequels. I just want to say that right now. I want to clarify, but they're not great. They're not as good as Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
So yeah, if you are in the very fortunate position of being able to adapt a successful property into film, you got to figure out what makes you why do you want to work on that project, and then instill the film with that. Like it isn't enough to just take the book, make it page by page, and then cut out everything you can bear to cut out until you're within movie length. Like you have to find the reason that gets you excited about the film and put that in. And of course, if nothing about the project excites you and you're doing it for a paycheck, I can't fault you for making money, but you probably shouldn't be working on that project.
Yeah.
People who made Ender's Game.
Oh God.
Sorry. Very upset.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Did you read the book?
I didn't. It's on my to read list.
Oh my God.
And then I just never got around to it. I know.
It's such a good book. It's my second favorite book ever. It's my favorite sci-fi book. And that movie, I was spitting. I was so angry when I walked out of that theater.
Oh, that's not good.
Sadness. Anyways, Yeah, so those are my thoughts on adaptation, and I look forward to being able to actually it's weird because the first feature film I direct is probably going to be an adaptation of either one of my books or one of Sean's, and that's pretty cool. So hopefully that continues to develop, and if it does, dear listener, you will hear about it here. So there you go. I will move to the end of the show unless you want to chime in on that topic at all.
I was just going to say, do you think it's helpful if the writer of the book writes the screenplay?
Very much depends. So, what's her name? So Gillian Flynn wrote the novel Gone Girl and wrote the screenplay. She said in interviews that she changed before leading up to it, which made me very excited to see the film. She said that she changed the ending of the book because she wanted people who loved the book to have a surprise when they went and saw the film. So the ending of the film is not the same as the ending of the movie because she wanted the book lovers to be like, okay, yeah, this was good. What? Because the book itself has so many twists and it's a wonderful, delightful book, right? But then on the other side of the spectrum, you have the running joke that anytime Stephen King is involved in a film or TV adaptation of one of his books, it's terrible.
Yes.
And whenever he's not involved, it's good. So I think I think it always depends on the person. J.K. Rowling didn't write the screenplays, but she had she was there. She was a consultant. She was there working on the films, advising the script writers.
Very heavily.
Yeah, she did apparently, if I'm remembering correctly. The what is it? Fantastic Magical Beast and Where to Find Them. A new Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Okay. So I'm looking to see who I think she wrote the screenplay for it.
Yes, she did.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. So I'm going to be interested to see, is this going to be good? Is it not? I don't think it is. I do not have high hopes for this movie because it's not based on an actual story. But then again, J.K. Rowling she's just a good storyteller. So maybe it's, I'm very nervous about it.
Well, she also tried to do that sci-fi series, right? Wasn't that her? Oh, no, that wasn't. That was, never mind.
Yeah, but she has written other.
Myers.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, she tried to do, yeah. Ugh,
it was bad, but so were the Twilight books.
Yeah. Okay. The books weren't as I feel like the books weren't as bad as people say. They weren't great, but like I feel like people make them out to be worse than they were. And I feel like the movies were just as bad as everybody says they are.
Yeah. So. Well, I read the books, couldn't put them down, but they were not well written. Like the word "the" is misspelled.
Right.
And I mean, just, I don't know what the editor was doing, but it wasn't editing a book.
Yeah.
So, and it's just a ripoff of the True Blood series. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, not good.
Anyway. So I'll be interested to see how that goes. And then Orson Scott Card, he didn't write the screenplay for Ender's Game, but he was involved in the making of that film. And I guess he didn't get the point of his own book because the point of the movie was diametrically opposed to the point of the book. I don't even know how that's possible. It doesn't make any sense to me, but there you have it. It's just one of those things, I guess. So I don't know if it's good for the writer, whether it's good or not to have the writer involved with the making of the film depends on the writer, and I guess also depends on the project and the people that they're working with, which is why I am very leery of ever selling any film rights to anything that I write ever, because God, I just don't want.
Never know.
Yeah, exactly. Like if a filmmaking team wants to make it and it's somebody that I like believe in, then okay, yeah, maybe, but I just don't want to hand it off to Michael Bay. Like, God, don't ever let that happen to me. Please.
Unless you make something with car explosions, no story, and product placement. in which case
exactly.
perfect.
Exactly. Product placement in books. I wonder if that's even a thing. I should call brands and be like, hey, I'll put your product into my book.
There you go.
My money. I'm the Michael Bay of writing.
It has been in desperate need of one.
All right, so we will move to the end of the show now. We have community news, as always. Whether you are watching us live or listening to us afterwards on the audio feed, please do pop over to iTunes and rate the show. Ratings and reviews help other people find the show. It helps grow the community, et cetera, et cetera. You know why it's good. Please go do it if you have a soul. This week, We Make Movies' weekly event is Games Night. It's games night. Actors go, they play games. It's improv. It's fun. It's always hilarious. I don't actually know where it's happening this week. And I think Chad noted for me that it was games night, but I don't know where the location was. But I'll tell you where you can find out is our website, wemakemovies.org, which I am now pulling up while I continue to do this thing. Oh, where is it? January 20th, Theater Games Night. And it is going to be... the website says to be announced. Fantastic. All right. Well, it's going to be happening, so keep an eye on We Make Movies' Twitter feed. And then finally, for community news, We Make Movies is the only filmmaking community in the world, so far as we know, that is supported by its community. And that happens on a website called patreon.com. Patreon is a crowdfunding website like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, except instead of one big crowdfunding push, it is like a voluntary subscription to an artist that you like who creates content for free for everybody else. So patrons go to Patreon, support We Make Movies, and as a consequence, We Make Movies is able to put on all of its events, which are free for anybody to come and attend and learn from. So you can go to patreon.com/We Make Movies if you want to support. Become a member, a supporter, and you get all kinds of cool benefits and awesome rewards and all kinds of stuff. And the money that you give goes into a rolling production fund, which is used by We Make Movies to fund movies made by members of the community. So that's cool. So check it out. Patreon.com/We Make Movies. We end, as always, with things to know. I will let you go first. What do you have? Not Michelle, although it says Michelle in the spreadsheet. Veronica?
I don't really have much, but if you want to keep up with me, you can always follow me on Twitter at Veronica_now. I do watch the award shows and I live tweet them, and I'm hysterical.
I have followed you now, and I will keep up with the live tweeting of the Oscars because I'm probably not going to get to watch them live.
There you go.
My thing to know is I have, to the no doubt great surprise, well, not surprise, what's the right word? To the dismay of some, I have started a new podcast. It's called Page a Day. It's based on a project that I actually tried in 2015 and abandoned eventually. So hopefully I do better with it this time. Basically, it's a daily journal. So I write 250 words a day about that day, 250 words or less, because that's what fits on the page of a book. And then at the end of the year, I basically have a 365-page book of a journal of my year. And this time, in order to keep myself more accountable and whatever, I decided to make it into a podcast. So it's publishing to iTunes now. It might be live. It might have gone live while the show was running. I don't exactly know. But if you're listening to this on the audio feed afterwards, you will almost certainly be able to listen to it. So there you go. Page a Day. And that's it for the show. Thank you so much for coming on. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had a show today.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. And hopefully we'll have you back on in the future. That has been the We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast. I'm Garrett Robinson. You can find me at garrettbrobinson.com. Chad is online at superfreako.com. Michelle is on Twitter at mlucadoo. And Veronica is on there at Veronica_now. We'll see you next week, everybody. Good night.